live.
Izokutshela na iphone or camera.
We are live. Siyakhuleka bomkhulu nina bohlanga, children of the palm, raised children of the cane, children of the soil, children of the great waters, children of the celestial heavens, nina bezulu, makhosi amakhulu. Siyanibingelela nonke. We greet you in the name of the Divine Mother, ugogo, Het-Heru. Greet you emagameni kaNomkhubulwane, Nomoyi, Uma, and all the great mothers, the living ones, the Tongo-centric ones, the Dlozi ones, izinyanya, abadala, ngisho nabasha, amantombazanyana amancane, ogogo abaphilayo, nabangasekho. Siyanibingelela kuwo wonke lamagama angcwele egameni kaMvelinqangi, uNomkhubulwane, ogogo bonke nomkhulu. Siyanibingelela egameni leKhambi Natural Healing, uMenzi Maseko okhulumayo, uNgcamane, uKhubonye uNdlovu idle ekhaya ngokweswela belusi, uMaphanga, uSidwaba siluthuli, kuthiwa amaphanga phuma ngaphansi kwentaba, ingonyama ziyakubongela, bathi ziyakubongela kanti ziyakunanatela, ziyakuthakazela. Sidabuka eSwatini kodwa ngokukhula sikhulele kwaZulu. So we embrace all the cultures of Southern Africa and of the whole of Africa and the entire black world and the entire black galaxy. It is all our culture and we celebrate it la Ikhambi. There are no limits to our culture, there are no limits to our traditions. We celebrate all of them and we are about the healing of the nation. And we bring guests that are in touch with their self. We bring guests here and we have conversations with people who are in touch with their inner being, who are in touch with their culture, and who can lead us on journeys about their journey, their spiritual journey, their professional journey, so that we can learn from each other. We, angihamba noMadlamini bingelela before we say our meditation.
Kulungile. Sanibonani, Dumelani, greetings to everybody. uMadlamini lo, intombi yasemalangeni. Nkosi uDlamini esihlubula sikanobamba. Mina ngiyihlubulo lokucala, umalangeni.
Mlangeni omuhle. The guest here, our special guest today is Mxolisi, Zuluboy, Majozi. Greet the people for it. You can greet the people, brother.
Het-Heru.
Het-Heru. Usungaphakathi.
Vusamazulu.
Vusamazulu.
Mlangeni.
Mlangeni omuhle.
Ra. Set.
Ra.
Set.
Bonke.
Siyathokoza namakhosi amakhulu. Sibingelele nje. Sibingelele ababukayo nabalalele. Sibingelela amathwasa athwase ngazo zonke igaba ehlukahlukene kumagugu amano omhlaba. Sibingelela abanomkhubulwane ophezukwayo yonke intaba, ophezukwayo yonke imifula. Sibingelele bonke abantu abansundu, bonke abantu abakhothama ngaphansi kwelanga, abantu baselangeni. Sikhulekile.
Siyabonga kakhulu. Siyakhuleka, sithi makhosi amakhulu. Welcome my brother. It's such a pleasure ukuthi sibonane again. People, I said to the people, we go back a long way. Ngazana kudala usagulisa umrapper nje osafufusa until he became a big man. Songena endabeni, we're going to talk about it. Lana sokhuluma nawe, siphinde sikhulume nohamba nabo, siphinde sikhulume nohambe nabo, siphinde sikhulume ngalabo osazohamba nabo. So just feel free, feel at home. And of course usekhaya, because we've got uMadlamini, and I know uzongikhuza at Menzi, we must pray first before sikhuluma indaba eziningi. We must pray first. She's very strict, even though uyahleka uyasmile, but she's very strict about these things. So ngena kanjalo ngene endabeni. But before even sikhuleka, I want to acknowledge ukuthi again and again thokoza maliyafa ukuthi odlamini ba strong kakhulu la ekhaya. Besides ukuthi sihamba noMankosi, even myself ubama ozala oMaseko, uMadlamini uzala umkhulu, naye wanguMadlamini ekhaya elikhulu lala ekhaya eKwaDlamini. So we know that these Dlaminis are great. And naye Mxolisi naye, he has some Dlamini blood in him, Mlangeni blood in him. So siselangeni nje, we are in the bright glow of the sun. So power is going to be strong in here. The conversation is going to be rich, and we want to go deep into issues of music, spirituality, and land. So without further ado, ngicela sonke sibe nje just calm. Bese siyaphefumula nje, sithathe umphefumulo, we take a deep breath in, and then we breathe out. So relax amahlombe, relax your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Hold that breath. Allow your ancestors to permeate this environment, and then breathe out. We take another deep breath in. Allow ourselves to be attentive, to be present, to fulfill our purpose in this time, in this moment. Every moment is divine. Breathe out. We like to take one more breath to acknowledge all the great ones that came before us and all the ones that we walk with in this time. Take a deep breath in of acknowledgement. Hold it, and then we breathe out. Ashe, ashe, tamaku, tamaku, tamaku. Welcome all the guests that give thanks. We welcome all the brothers and sisters that are with us today, who are joining us on the Zoom. I would like to ask all of them, brothers and sisters, to unmute, elders and youths, to unmute your mics so that we can all say the Healer's Pledge together. We recite this pledge together for the sake of word, sound, and power. For those who understand what word, sound, and power means, you will know why we say a pledge like this. So please repeat after me. Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
We are healers.
We owe our gift to nature, our ancestors, and our creator.
We owe our gift to
gifts
nature, our
ancestors, and our creator.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Unu, Ubuntu.
We live by the principles
of
Ubuntu.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will approach each other with
honesty and compassion.
We will offer our advice, recommendations, and ideas with trust.
We will
offer our advice,
recommendations,
and ideas with compassion.
We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will neither
insult,
dishonor,
or abuse one another.
We will share, practice, promote, and raise awareness about natural healing.
We will share,
practice,
and promote,
raise awareness about natural healing.
Healthy lifestyles and well-being.
Healthy lifestyles.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information and falsehood.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information
and falsehoods.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi,
We are healers.
Our gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
Our
Gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
We will give back to nature what it has abundantly given us.
We will
give back to nature what it has abundantly given to us.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Tamaku. makhosi amakhulu nani makhosazana namakhosikazi mantombazana zinzwakazi nonke who are gathered here today. Please welcome Mxolisi Zuluboy Majozi. We're gonna just launch into our conversation very quickly, but before we do that, I'd love to hear what Nkosi has to say. Nkosi, do you have anything to say before we get into it?
We are in my season, guys. Last year, when the season came, it left a seed in my womb and was a co-host, unofficial co-host, Umans. So I really love this season. It's the season, it's the silly season. I call it the silly season because this is the only time where a mouse, is season yamakan, you know, people get drunk ngamakan. It's the only time that you get to be silly and enjoy music and enjoy everything about life, you know, because serious all the time, you know. And there's a time and place for everything. So there's a time which is very time, and this is that season where we enjoy music and enjoy having sex and enjoy being happy, and we enjoy being mothers, and we enjoy giving birth, life, family, and everything, like enjoyment. It's the silly season. If you feel happy during the season, it's because you are supposed to be feeling happy. The energy in the air is there.
I'd like to remove the word silly from it because kunazo izinto esiyithatha lapha nako colonialism wena gogo, especially contemporary colonialism. By contemporary colonialism qonda ukuthi kunezinto nje esiyithatha la emoyeni because I understand exactly what you mean though by silly season. But we must always, because we are here as healers, understand that in our silliness, there must be responsibility. Maybe we should change the word and call it the happy season. Because it's about family, it's about lovers, it's about, yes, those who are drinking and getting drunk and all that, asbasoli in this season. So you are right about that. Season you know, there's a lot together between now and maybe end of January and things like that, you know. But I'm just saying let's remove the silliness part because sometimes you can be silly and then regret it for the rest of the year. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, silly but responsible. So I'd like to launch into it. Mxolisi, the gift. When did you first realize you had the gift? And what was the gift at first? Maybe it was not rap, maybe but when did you realize you are gifted as a child?
Hey, you see, when it comes to the humbleness of uhambo lakho ngento asihlukile because into aso ijeni yempilo yakho, I think I might try and say that I understood what was going on in my life at certain times, but till today there are certain things I still don't understand because part of me feels like the gift is still being cultivated in its totality. There were times where I would look at school is nice, no chomafela, no stumo, and if our class was like teaching a period, a Brighton primary, with one of my old friends who's Piwe to act out to Ukund, you know, FK or Uftumo Nan. And during school variety shows, we would rap Boys to Men. I would sing. It was I can never really pinpoint it to the passing of my mother in 2005, to me rapping at the Vet Center in 2005 in June the 18th. It was very spectacular when I was rapping at Pro Kids launch, and it opened up doors for the rest of my career when it comes to music. When I was in Johannesburg, I was emceeing a show in Sandton. we had just signed with Sipogazi as Native Rhythms and produced the first album, Ubuntu Bam. And when I was emceeing there was Khomoto Matonyana in the crowd of Tom Pictures. And then she asked me to come to Bomb Shelter, and I did my first script audition at Bomb Shelter with Duma Mavis. And then I got a lead role for Soul City, which I grew up watching. So, and then after that, I was in Europe the whole year of 2017, and they waited to cast me as Utotsi, the musical, the first time on stage, playing 53 scenes, a 3-hour show. I had to memorize over 57 scenes, I think, with Autumn Silentaga, a cast of 50 members, a musical directed by Udom and O'Neill Copeland. And for me to be nominated as one of the best actors for a Fludi Cup nomination with the first time, and I've never actually realized Uguti I'd be doing theater and leading Abantu Abafundile in theaters in universities, playing Utsotsi the musical, with the musical director like Uzwaibala, spending after hours. So I think, Mkulu, just to back on your question, I think that the realization is still being cultivated of the actual talent, because there's a lot now that is brewing since umuntu eseqala uhambo lukamoya. So was washelenya.
Ngizwa kahle mkhulu. You are basically what you've just highlighted. Out of everything that you said, I'm finding ukuthi okay, besides the fact that it begins at the early stages of your life, but only as time goes by, in stages, the talent and the gift gets cultivated. It's not like, you have people who say, by 3 years old, I knew I was going to play drums. The other day, I meant to smooth. When I meant to smooth zone, I don't know if you know smooth zone, the drama. Recently, last week.
Oh, sure.
And Spuzon, I met him. We were shopping for toys for children, Oh, he's trying to buy a toy, a musical toy. Now I'm looking for musical toys for one of my boys who's musical. Bana 6. Okay, I think he said he's buying for cousins. Abashana, sorry. Nephews. He says, so I'm asking him, when did you know that you would be playing drums? He says, no, I was always Shayamatini from 3 years old. Shayamatini, when people are singing Shayamatini, I'll always be beating on something. So some people always know, but some people grow, as you are saying, gradually into it. But also what I picked up from you is something important now. When it comes to the script, scripts, you are doing film and theater.
Yes.
What kind of intellect? Is it intellect, or is it heart, or is it another faculty that you have to use to memorize all these lines? Because did you say how many? 53? What pages?
53 scenes, 3 hours a day.
In every scene, you are learning only your lines, or you're learning everyone's lines?
For every scene, it came with a lot of pressure. Because first of all, I was going through healing in my life. Sometimes God places us in places for particular purposes. I was going through a divorce with my ex-wife, Wandi, and I just came back in 2017, and God placed me in Cape Town at Artscape Theatre, where I learned ballet. I learned the intelligence of the rest of the body movement. And not just carrying our heads. Yes.
Zuluboy doing ballet moves.
Hey, ballet moves. Hey, we did ballet. We did African contemporary on Tata Mashang. We did a lot. Nabo Sonia. It was choreography, especially for us to have activities and healing for the day, because every day we were there at 7, some was pumming or 5, and every day we are dancing, we are singing, we are acting, we are giving lives to words. And it was not an easy one, because I think when it comes to the story of Tutsi, it's very emotional, because we know he steals a baby, and then this hardcore criminal ends up becoming soft simply because he needs to fill a father role. He needs to fulfill a father role within this child that he stole. And we had a puppet that I was maneuvering while we were doing lines. And we needed to show emotions of love of a father to a child, we needed to show emotions of a girlfriend. The character that was played by Terry Pratt was played by Momo Matsonyan. And Utsotsi needed to cry and break down every night, in front of people. And that's one of the problems we face even in the industry of performance, performing arts, is that people are never decoded of these things. They are encoded in rehearsals. Like wonke lama scenes in Cape Town really took their toll on me. I was feeling like a gangster for real. Especially in long streets and the after nights, and wearing the leather, carrying the guns all day, and speaking a dirty language, and embellishing myself into this life of this hardcore criminal who doesn't care,
Embodying the character.
Embodying the character, because a character, the way you need to embody it is when the character cries, you cry. So I use that as an example to explain the depth of a character. Because it's very hard to bring tears where there's joy. You understand? Because you are excited, you are playing a role, the theater is full, the auditorium is full, there's no cut, there's no let's take it again. Everything is just there. And it was my first time, and I'm playing a lead with a company of people who've directed Grahamstown Arts Festivals. They've directed a lot, internationally. They've done TED Talks, they've done a lot, So it was very, very challenging every day, as an actor. Acting is not an easy thing, my king.
Now, you were telling us that also you, on a personal level, you are going through something.
Yeah. At a personal level.
How does that affect you as a gifted person, having to deal with the work?
I know, if uqala uhamba ngomoya, intelligence yakho uzoyibeka eceleni, even though ngangazi at that time. But when I used to play golf with my daughter every afternoon, because we lived at Jackal's Creek Golf Estate in Johannesburg. All my daughters, Unupia, she was in grade 3, Trinity, Lapa, North Riding. AJ was still in grade R, about 2. So every day, Menglanda Lumdala schooling, Angbatata Bangan is Dalikalof in the yard. So going through a divorce, I remember I went to my grandmother, Epriya, La Pagako, Kuyagwas means Lazatara Bonagako Kone, Togo. Bengfika
kakhulu Zulu futhi lelo.
Samkhulu no papi thokoza khetla la. Ugogo ngelinye ilanga waba invite abantu bebefika. My daughter was the youngest. I think she was 4 years old. She was like, Baba samsodlala igalofu, and it brought tears. I couldn't hold the tears. Divorce is not an easy process. A lot of people don't come back. But then in the healing process, sometimes umvele kuqala nomoya bake bakuthathe bakukhiphe kwi-business, ugcine uyihlalele eCape Town, uthola i-stipend, uthola umuntu ozokulanda ekuseni akunecharishe, and you are in the theater 9 to 5 every day with people from Johannesburg. You are learning ballet, you are learning contemporary dance. And I think for me, the healing began there when I was separated from Ippies and I was placed in a city where I knew nobody in Cape Town. So, and I had to concentrate in a theater with a salary at the end of the day. So I think it was very instrumental in my healing, because even physically, my body was fit because we are dancing every day and we are running every day. We are in a theater and we're doing runs. Yeah.
May I ask something very, sorry, I noticed the hand of Ikhambi. Ikhambi, please unmute and speak.
But Mxolisi magaloka khuluma owakithi ukhulume into very important, that when you're going through stuff, you immerse yourself in in the art. When you're an artist, you just throw yourself into your art when you're going through stuff, And it made me think, would you remember when I spoke about the story of South Brazil, how they unclog blood vessels by playing a drum over somebody's body, you know? And I just wanted to understand what role your ability, I feel good to me, us as people who are musical, because I play the guitar, us as people who are musical, we can just throw ourselves into the music. And he spoke about the dancing, the body movement, and that requires you to step onto the ground. Remember when I was still staying in Dubai, and I said, the moment I set foot in South Africa, I felt healing. I wanted to stand for him, you know, and the artistic part of him, you know. I know he just recently did Nkomo art. Can we speak about he's created
Are you willing to speak about it before I ask the follow-up question? But is that your question?
No problem. Anything, man.
Okay. All right. Lower your hand, Coco. You can continue, Mkol.
Traveling the world, what it then does, according to Amakhetla Madala Elanga, umuntu wayethi mesuka ekhaya esuka endlini esentla endumbeni, wayethi meyiphuma akhuleke alibike uhambo lakhe, athi masehamba futhi mekufika kumfula oqala afika akhuleke kumakhehla ayosala kulowo mfula because amakhehla esihamba nayo waweqi imifula, athi masefika ngale ngaphesheya komfula aphinde akhuleke futhi athathwe yilawo makhehla, kanjalo uyozafika kunalo mfula olandelayo, kanjalo amakhehla ayohamba because amakhehla agadile indawo. So nokuhamba umhlaba wonke jikelele in that nature kunemphahlo ekuyomela ukuthi yenziwe. Le mphahlo meyenziwa iyokwazi ukuthi mawuphuma ekhaya ubikile ungabi nesimo sokugula mawufika phesheya, ukwazi ukuthi imphahlo oyenzayo ukhulume namakhehla amadala akubethe, uwachazela isimo ozobhekana naso nesikhathi, uthi mohamba futhi ngoba seqa nolwandle sigibela namabhanoyi, seqa ney'ndawo ey'ningi unomkhubulwane la akwazi ukufikelela kuzona ngoba la kufinyelela khona ilanga akwazi ukufinyelela khona amakhosi kuzo zonke iy'gaba nawo wonke amagumbi amane, empumalanga, entshonalanga, enyakatho, yonke indawo nje, north, south, east and west, la kuvela khona ilanga amakhehla ayakwazi ukuthi ahambe nawo, kodwa ahamba nesigaba sokuthi imifula ayibavumeli ukuthi baqhubeke labo bajwayele, ugcine uthathwa abaselangeni abahambisana nomongo, should I say with the source of energy that you transcended, mawuphuma endumbeni uhambe yaphesheya. And then you're coming back home ngokubona kwami Nkosazana, umhlaba ugravitateile, because I don't think ukuthi spiritually some levels we reach those levels, because like me, I think I'm on my third passport now traveling the world, and Nkosazana iqinisele kuyakhuleka phesheya, kuyakhuleka ngempela, but then now lo mhlaba uyathintwa yilanga, kuyofanele ukuthi ney'nkomo nezinto zaselangeni zikwazi ukubuyela ekhaya, ngoba if you fly in Black Madonnas in Argentina, you would understand ukuthi ngey'nsuku kusakhonzwa ilanga umvele iqala ura, qhekeka komhlaba kuthiwa i-Big Bang Theory, mebesha besilunga besihumusha. You understand in the Caucasus Mountains, the Caucasians were stuck, bagcine bekhonza inkosi yobumnyama uSeth at the time, and then it mutated.
Continental drift,
kwazaleka abashana bethu ababelungu, kwazaleka iy'ngane zethu ezabelungu at that time. So wonke lo mhlaba lo noma bekuthiwa ngempahla right nokuphahla nakwendlela kweqiniso nokukhuleka ngaphansi kwelanga ubike uhambo lwakho, angiboni ukuthi kuyophinde kwenzeke Nkosazana. Mase ngithinta la kuinkomathi, inkomathi is my time in Johannesburg. I wanted to launch Imalangeni album, just to do a media launch, but I had spare time in my hands. And then one day, ngihleli kamngani wami eSoweto ngithi ngifuna ukuyochama ePhomolong. Mengithi ngiyochama ngale ngemumva yama-toilet angemumva lapha eSoweto. Mengifika ngifica isikali senkomo esihle kanjani. Esineyimpondo esihleli. Ngithi
toilet.
Hayi ngaphandle la egcekeni ngathi usomsile ngathi babedla inhloko.
Okay, somsile. All right.
Bayithola ebhara lezi inhloko lezi. Ngase ngithi mina wekhahla lami ngicela ukuyithatha lento mina khona engizokwenza ngakho. Sasihamba ke siye Sparks Gallery lapha eNowood, where we have a space, an artistic space and an art gallery and everything where we do things. Nabafowethu babakwena eQwaqwa oTebogo Mfukeng, nabofukeng abafowethu umfukeng wa-authors as well. So banginika igrinder ngagrinder leshandisi ngikhipha lenyama emnyama sayigrinder sase sithola i-old gold impondo zakhona sathola ne-platinum sase siyipenda ngo-platinum la sase sicollecta ama-coins osheleni sambe siwacosha phansi sihamba ngenyawo nabo bonke abantu besibacela usheleni ngoba umuntu ngeke aze akuncishe usheleni, and we are melting labo sheleni-ke to put it in le nkomo le. We call it Nkomathi, as a simple representation of our ancestors, because as much as revolutions might happen and they call them 4IR, inkomo ziyohlezi inkomo ivikele isibayeni.
That's powerful. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. I would like us to
of the work on Ikhambi. What Mxolisi is talking about, I'll share it on our Instagram page.
On our Facebook, please, if you can. Okay, I'd like to go deeper into that issue of the cow, because now you are touching on the grandmother who is presiding over the season, as Nkosi has already alluded. When you speak about a cow, my question is two-pronged. I want to ask about your intuition with regards to your relation to that skull. So I want to. The first question is about what attracted you to that particular cow. Besides Umzulu, maybe that's a cliche. Amazulu, they have this thing with cows, but it may not be Amazulu only. Maybe Abapedi, Botswana, various people. You said you're working with the brothers of Bafokeng, So, and the second part of the question. So the first part is personal. Your connection with this cow, with the skull and the art. The second part of the question, is regarding a more Pan-African view. Uguti, from the Maasai to the Dinka people to the various peoples of Africa, there is this thing about the sacredness of Inkomo. The cow seems to be whether it's the bull in ancient Egypt, Osa was called the sacred bull. Het-Heru. She is called the sacred cow, the divine cow, the cow of heaven, mother of stars, whatever. So what is it? I'm looking at the elements that you are putting into this cow. It's very intricate. We can have a whole session just about you guys creating that artwork alone. But first, can you answer those questions from the first part, the personal part of the cow as a Zulu person, and the second one as the Pan-African outlook of the cow?
Because people who keep getting kicked out of the session.
Okay,
the session is streaming live on our platforms. It's on, if you get kicked out of the session, you can go to Facebook. I will monitor your questions for Mxolisi, and then I will speak on your behalf.
I can go ahead and go.
Oh, Thokoz. I think for me, when I did that piece, I was missing my mother, period, Unonhlanhla. Unonhlanhla, Rebecca, wakazuma, umazuma. Kodwa isibongo ayisebenzisa uMajozi isibongo sikagogo. There was a time ngithola umsebenzi wokuqala kwami ngamthengela inkomo. Because uma wangifundisa ukugqula imithi, wangifundisa ukushaya isigubhu, wangifundisa uma into eziningi ukushisa impepho, wangifundisa imithetho yendumba ebuye edlozini ebuye entwasweni
So
efika
in short, was your
ekhaya.
mother a Sangoma? Excuse me.
Yes,
Inyanga?
mkhulu.
Okay.
Yes, uma wayisangoma uNonhlanhla. I remember there was a time uma ebuyiswa emukelwa ngenkomo nezimbuzi ezintathu nginonsiko mrapper sibuye Bed Center no socks sihlele Nanda ekhaya uNonhlanhla
He's talking
wasenanda
about Durban legends, by the way. Durban, those are Durban hip hop legends.
Wayidumile uma isiqulo nje mawubheka la eminweni la insimbi zesiqulo isekhona, so insila zakhona, so inkomo lena, hey, for me it reminded me a lot of uNonhlanhla and nezinto uma ayizenza nangendlela engikhule ngayo uyabo. At my personal level, that's the relationship I have with this cow. And one day, you know, I have wishes and desires of having a lot of cows, you know, and iskal senkomo, I think like as Ondle Benkulu
Asime kancane ke ngoba singathi kune network lag lapho. Bamba kancane nje ibambe lapho. Ngifuna uqale phansi.
Onqiwankulu have polished it. Some of us sold it.
Sorry, there was a network issue there kancane. Uke wathi
ukubaleka mkhulu.
Ukubaleka.
Ngiyazwakala.
You wish to have a lot of cows, but then I don't know something about Ondlebe Khanyilanga.
Yeah, bro. I wish to have a lot of cows. I know Ondlebe Khanyilanga sometimes what they normally do, they normally process out things and sell it back to us. And some of them, when they're processing, they chase us away from it because it has power. Like the skulls that they normally use from goats and the skulls that they normally use from cows, and them wearing gothic colors and black colors and putting on black makeup. Sometimes it's to keep people away. Sometimes skulls because they frighten people. Sometimes it's primarily that. So lokubona le skull senkomo ngathi mengisithathile, for me I resonated with it and it reminded me of my mother. Now when it comes to Africans, I think we're in dangerous times, to answer your Pan-African view of the actual Nkomathi. We're in dangerous times because everything is getting digitalized and everything is going forward. Here we are having a Zoom meeting as we speak, you know, speaking things, Zopila, speaking things of the spirit within systems that are designed, you know, of technology, you know, artificial intelligence, because we are in one room as we speak. Now, there's going to be a time where food is processed. Already, I'm a vegans, they are processing inyama. As much as cows are the major problem of what they call climate change, and the gases that they release, but especially those that are genetically modified and processed in Europe.
And the feeding,
not the one,
feeding of it.
The feeding nokugcaba kwazi inkomo ayigcabi lesa phesheya. Inkomo iyagcatshwa phela mkhulu. Inkomo iyaphuziswa amagwebu egcekeni, iphuza amagwebu neinsila zezinto ezithizeni zakhona la egcekeni ekhaya. So I think in the fourth industrial revolution and artificial intelligence, where do we place our cows? Especially growing up in this time, because mina enginesifiso sokuba nenkomo, ngiyoba nenkomo kanjani when inyama isiprocesswa. What will be the role of inkomo in 2030, in 2060? Imoto sayindiza, you know. So I think in Pan-Africanism, it's a subject on its own where we need to do a study, because the silverness of it, ngathi inkomo a robot, like you'd have a transform, you know, the gold
transformer cow.
It's a transformed cow, cool.
Bionic cow.
Where is by taking that skull, and it's just to raise awareness as Nkomathi on the futures that we face with our livestock.
But what is Nkomathi then? What Nkomathi? There's a project. What is it?
it's the different shapes of impondos and go.
Okay. Is it an exhibition or is it an exhibition or is it a musical project?
No. It's
an art project.
I was doing my launch in Malangeni, a Sparks Gallery. I'll repeat it again, Mkhulu. And then I had free time on my hands. And when I was going around, I told her iskali at behind the back room. As a grinder in my spare time. Yeah. Inkomat is primarily that. It's purely that.
Okay.
It's just something I'm doing on my spare time. But I posted it and I think Nkosi uyibonile. Thokoza mkhulu.
Okay, all right. Please later on, Nkosi must remind us for you to have your social media links, the links that we need for you, so that we can people can follow and know where to find you, things like that. Nkosi, go ahead and speak.
I'm gonna speak now, but I need to fix something.
Okay, after you, I would like to hear the voices of the rest of the people that have joined us here. Anyone who has questions and comments, I would like us to hear a little bit of those. But if you fixed, you'll give us a notification.
Okay, we'll again, Mkhulu. Wagit.
Langen.
Your hand is noted, Moji.
I want to lower my hand first. I'm using multiple devices. What I wanted to ask Mkhulu, he's touched on a lot of things. So at home we are blessed and we can have isbaya, but then now it comes back to the question of land. How, as a people and as a nation, we need to understand the fact that when we buy cows, because manje I'm in Soweto, if I was to buy a cow today, where would I place it? So you make that I'm a health inspectors no ban the way and in that context, I wanted to hear Mxolisi's views about this, and Mxolisi akaphendula ngombuzo wami oyi-1 engibuzile kudala ekuqaleni, I'm so glad that you said you expressed it ukuthi umamakho bekuyisangoma. Idlozi livuswa ngengoma. And I want to speak about that. And idlozi alivuswa ngengoma ungagidanga. And it also goes back to the land, when we don't own the land.
All right. That question is noted and very good. Landlessness, I guess, is the question. How do we deal with the issue of landlessness, maybe? Excuse me, just let me add a little something to that question, Mkhulu. I don't know where I was speaking. One of the platforms I was speaking, I was talking about the fact that abaningi bethu, jebasihlala emadolobheni, abaningi bethu, we have amakhaya. A lot of us, not all. Some of us are just born either so-called squatter camp or even sometimes just a lokshini, and we don't have, a lot of people don't have amakaya. But there's a whole lot of people about amakaya, but live in the city for work. So I just wanted to add that there is that element of the fact that we don't go home. Last time Scotland, I think last week or something, you were like in Seshowe. I'm not sure whether you are living there, manje. I remember saying something to someone on Facebook. It's it's not me who's a show. Mxolisi who's a show. What how was that? I'm shooting ngambona nje. No meaning. So there's a lot of people who are doing great work culturally. Abase show. They are doing it digitally. They are doing it Ombuso Koza and many others. So my question is the issue of having a space, having this space, but at the same time, not using the space emakhaya. And maybe a matter of also acquiring space emakhaya. I don't know. Let me not dilute the question of Ugogo too much. But that came up to my mind. Sinamakhaya, but mina nje, for example, I always complain ukuthi emakhaya akithi kukude. Newcastle, between Durban and Newcastle is far. Between Joburg and Newcastle is still far. So doing things in Newcastle, it's strenuous.
I'm from Swaziland, mina ne.
Yeah.
Mara.
Yeah.
La South Africa, bangincengisile.
You
Ngincikile.
want to do your work here?
Yeah.
Nkosazana ngikulaphe mankosi. Yabona umhlaba usuka eNewcastle eFryhead uphakama udlule eJohannesburg uhambe ePretoria uziyofika eMozambique wonke lo mhlaba wamaswati nkosazana. It was called Northern Swaziland ngaphansi kwenkosi uPrince Mbilini of Mswati II, who was a great warrior in 1879 eNtombe elwa impi nabangani bakhe inkosi uCetshwayo nonkosi uMpande. And when he was at war, the Anglo-Zulu War in 1879, his father Mswati II, Yakotama, and he heard of these news going back home after being a great warrior with his regiment. And then when he got home, his brother, his half brother, was then ezalwa kuMakhumane ngoba yena wayezalwa kuMadubwe inkosi uMbeleni wayesebekiwe ehlalweni kufanele ngabe kuyesakhe kodwa the great person that he was, he did not contest the throne because wayekhulekile ngabafowabo bonke. And then wase yakhothama naleyo nkosi ngokuhamba kwayo leyo nkosi kwase kubekwa ingane eyayikhona ngaphansi kwalomuzi eyayingenabo abazali eyathathwa yabekwa yenziwa inkosi. And leyo ngane yasifuna ke uba uMdumbazi, if I'm not mistaken, inkosi uMdumbazi yaseSwatini yathi mayisibekiwe lapho yasifuna uku-assassinate inkosi uMbileni. Inkosi uMbileni wabe sehamba ke esehamba zonke lezi indawo eSwazini. Even Johannesburg is under Swaziland. Even Gauteng is under Swaziland. Even Newcastle, Vryheid is under Swaziland. Kuze understand lokuhlangana kwethu kwelanga ukuthi waqhamuka kanjani wabaleka uPrince Mbileni wayibiza uNhlela kuze balekele abantu ababebuye head office yaseSwaziland ababebhek thokoza mkhulu. When we speak of the land,
excuse me mkhulu, you mentioned uNhlela, and that is a very good question. And I want us, our audience, to also have a take in this conversation, because now you are revealing something that we have to call you on another session. We just need a session just for Lomlando. I like that you're giving us that snippet. But the moment you mentioned Ndlela, you're reminding me of another brother who's a healer like us. We call him Anu. Ikhambi group here to our WhatsApp group. His name is Pagamani Ndlela. Now he's Zimbabwean. I met him in Zimbabwe. He was doing great work in Zimbabwe, working with healers, working in broadcasting and all that. Long story short, he has been seeking his blood, his Swati bloodline. We are talking about the issue of the bloodline, the issue of Ndlela. Bekunamakhosi ahlukahlukene omngomezulu nabo bebenendawo yabo nathi Maseko ngcamane bebenendawo yabo essentral somehow, but it's another topic. Before 1840 oNdlela nabo bebenendawo yabo yabo, and oDlamini be around Swatini. When I say around, I mean they were internal, but there's a history of Dlamini being chased by Zwide Galanga, coming in from areas of Mozambique or northern Natal, Mamhlabyalingana, amongst Nguni, Abizwa Matonga, things like that. So there was a whole lot of history, of a very complex history about Eswatini and what is called Southern African history. But it also involves Zimbabwe. He tells me that he's
Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and yes, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Gauteng is also Swaziland. It's called Northern Swaziland.
So this basically takes out the whole thing of what we have in South Africa, so to speak. I know your shirt is shouting South Africa, but South Africa itself is a construct.
It's a construct. These are the colors for a noble run I'm doing. A lot of runners really would love and honor to run and have these colors. And that's why I wear them off the floor.
These are indigenous.
According to Comrades Marathon, unless the indigenous can create its own, you understand, something of that stature, you know, because I even think even our universities are not qualified enough to have a certificate at the university and you recognized worldwide. So we will need to recognize and engage these things, so we learn from them, so we create our own. Nkosazana, mase ngibuyela kuwe kulo komhlaba eSoweto nani. Nkosazana, I will put an example to you of how we use the space for the wrong energy. Mekufika ama-tourist kufika belungu bahlanganiswa abantu abamnyama kuthiwa wozani nizosina ama-tourist. Not understanding ukuthi ukushaya kwakho konyawo phansi kusuke kunesizathu ukusina la ukuqhamuka khona, akumane usine nje noma bekuthuke. Unyakazisa amakhehla amadala aselele athuli ngaphansi, lolu sizo oludingayo lani na kunondlebe ekhanyila ngabahleli phambi kwakho. Sesiyadumisa isigubhu, kusinwe kugidwe, kwenziwe izinto, kubizwa abantu ngoba kunama-tourist eVilakazi Street, etheater thizeni. Ukusina kwakukushaya phansi, ukukhonektha konyawo, kusamazamisa umhlaba kuze okhokho omkhulu namathambo abo angaphansi asukume asilekelele ezimeni esibhekene nazo. So la ukhona Nkosazane kwisimo somhlaba nesimo seinkomo nani. Nkosazana, there's a place called ihotela labelungu eline farm Centurion. Hey, that hotel is revolutionary, because even my daughter in New York was turning 1. She also went to go visit a farm in New York. In the spaces that we are in, they wouldn't be towns or suburbs if there were no kings and the original owners of that land. Kunamanxiwa okhokho mkhulwane aseThekwini, kunendawo yaseBluff lapha sebebeka special forces ngoba kwakushaya ilanga lapha kuqala. Wayethi umshana waselangeni esukile kakhangela amankengane ngoba sekuthiwa ukhongela manje, ebeka isosha lakhe eligade amanzi nolwandle undongeni, esuka phezulu what you call KZN now, edle ndawo isathekwana which eliyisende lenkunzi iTheku. Wayimefika ezantsi laba bejimela khona, ababephahlela khona, ababenza izinto eziyimfihlo zethu zabantu abazalelwe nenkabe egqitshelwe ngendawo engaseThekwini. Kunendawo lapha eBluff la imphahlo yethu emase siphahlele khona iyohamba ifinyelele phezulu, sivusiweke amakhosi aselangeni ngomhla 3 September bekhanjiwe angithi umkhulu uNsingiza bebeselangeni eMpumalanga. Nakhona eBluff indawo ecisho ibe namandla okufana nayo, iqhumene khehla lamphathi si-military base. So ukukulapha amankosi ngiyawuthi kuwe ngoba bayazazi imfihlo nento yophakamisa umbuso welanga, bayazazi imfihlo. Like for example, I'll share with you why I was ashore. I was ashore ngihleli kanxa zonke, ngihleli kaNkosi Mphengi, ngihleli kaBhebhe ozala inkosazane yaselangeni uNandi. Ngisentwaseni sivuka siyaphalaza ekseni, siyaqhuma ntambama, sikhuluma izinto zelanga, sixoxa ngomkhosi nombuso wakaZulu owawumncanyana ngesikhathi inkosazane behambisa umbondo behlangana nomfana usenza ngakhona emfuleni. Base inkosazane yaselangeni yacela amantombazana awu5 akaZulu ngoba bebengafuni ukuzwa ngabo. Great women at the time will go and find their husband. like Queen Sheba when she left Ethiopia, Ethiopia, ehambe ofuna inkosi uSolomon, kwakheka lineage kaHaile Selassie. Amakhosazana of their times, especially inganzelanga, zayikwazi ukuthi ziyifunele indoda eziyothandana naye. Wahamba inkosazana yaselangeni uNandi zashawa intombi zakaZulu ukuze bangadictate ukuthi bawuphathana kanjani kwibrayi. They were popping champagne emfuleni lapha abafana bakaZulu osenza ngakhona. Base inkosazana uNandi ke yasikhetha usenza ngakhona basebelala emadlangaleni. Uzwe ngesiZulu kuthiwa ugoba amadlangala. Amadlangala wa izinto ezakhiwe kanje ngey'ngodo zakhela ama-travelers labo ufike balale khona emadlangaleni, balale emadlangaleni. And when that happened, because inkosazana uNandi is dead, yayithwase ngazo zonke iy'gaba zokuthwasa, yayikwazi ukuhlonipha imvelo, ikwazi futhi ukucommunicate directly nelanga. Ubhebhe kanxa zonke inkosi uMbhengu ingasabizwa ngegama uMbhengu ngoba yabhebhela umuntu etsheni ngomkhonto, kwathi unephizo wamabhubesi ngoba bayithola inhliziyo isabhaba kuzo, kodwa wayimshaye ngohawu wasembhebha ngomkhonto ubhebhe. Wayisatshwe endaweni kakhulu ubaba kaNandi. And into yakhona yatmenzeka kunengoma icula athi wobuya mntanami izulu leli liyaduma. Mayicula leli khehla lengoma wayesezwile ukuthi kunento eyenziwe inkosazana, ngoba inkosazana ukuzaleka kwayo yathi izalwa washona uma wayo. And inkosi uMbhengu had a love for a daughter and raised the daughter inkosazana yaselangeni ngaphansi kwemithetho yemvelo nemithetho yelanga. So manje kuthiwa yathi ibuye inkosazana ibuye isikhulelwe, inkosi uMbhengu yaphenduka inhlekiso ebantwini bakaMhlongo ngoba unxa zonke kaMhlongo. Yathi siphenduka inhlekiso ngoba uNandi wayespoiled, inkosazane eyayaziwa ukuthi itekitiswa kakhulu because she's daddy's little child elangeni, uyabona. So manje ngoba sekhulelwe, the family started ridiculing inkosi uBhebhe, ridiculing inkosi uMbhengu. Waqala waduba ukudla, wathi mayithatha induku yakhe yegolide, wathatha induku yakhe wamoya, wahamba waya emhosheni nasemfuleni, ekhuleka ilanga etlanga ngiyawuthini kulabantu esengiphenduka inhlekisa kubo. Wathi sekudubile ukudla, inkosi uMbhengu yalimisa ilanga langashona ngey'gaba zayo zentwazo. Wayiqalekisa imifula yoma yonke kwanesomiso kaZulu. Ulibambelishoni wenkosazana yaselangeni uNandi. So njengoba ngiseshowe bengiyothwasiswa mfowethu mkhulu, ngithwasiswa ngohambo labaselangeni. And kunobhebhe esinaye manje inkosi uMbhengu ekuthiwa uNqobane wakaMhlongo ebengitheni ngaphansi kwakhe.
Ngisho yena impela mntana inkosi
Hleli noNqobane ukhuluma ngomfowethu uKhoza. Ufike kuzoxoxwa sigubha usuku lokushona kwenkosazana ngo9 October. Ngihleli kwipanel namakhosi aselangeni. Inkosi yanganga ngezansi kwanzimakwe ochenge ePort Edward behle benofaku. Amakhosi ayifikile, amakhosi aphansi lekuleya ndawo la kwakunomathanzima khona nama landing strips swahla ehlangene elangeni kuzogujwa, kodwa kuzoxoxwa le ndaba ashaka ilembe the movie. Umbuso khoze ehleli lapha ezitulweni ehamba nomntaka bezokhuleka ukuthi kwenzeke iphutha. Kwakhulumeka ngomshana waselangeni ngoba kunanama processes enzakalayo okuhlawulwa kwenkosazana uNandi, ehlawulwa abaka inkosazana uNandi nxeseni inkosazana uNandi ehlawulwa.
Angazi kwenzekeni, but I would like to allow Moji. I'd like to allow Moji to say what he needs to say. Excuse me, Coco.
We lost him. He completely went off.
No, it's because what the topic is speaking about is high voltage. topic, what he's talking about now. One day we will translate these things to English for those who may not hear what the man is talking about. He's talking about a certain right that is discussions that have been happening in KwaZulu and KwaShesho and other places like that, where kings are royal houses are discussing the payment of the dowry for Inkosazana Unandi, King Shaga's mother, whereby so that they can cleanse certain things that are happening in the Zulu royal family and also within the other houses that are interrelated with that. And those are important topics that he's discussing. He's saying them with deep spiritual, I can feel that he is heightened, his spirit is heightened. So I'm just translating for the benefit of those who were not here. There's a discussion going on. Now I'm part of the discussion on the side with other brothers from the great house of Umhlongo, Nkosi Umbengi, where we are talking about the certain things that needs to be done ritually to appease the spirit of Unandi and the spirit of the great ancestors in Nyandezulu, ZakwaZulu, and Malala, Abambo, and all that. So I think he went offline because what he's speaking about is just deeply resonating. But maybe before he comes back, can we have Moji?
But you just said, yes. Embo. We are from Embo. And one day, when I was tracing my lineage, I went all the way to Ghana. But we're
not denying that, but we want itopic yakusuke kwakhuphuka ugogo nomkhulu ngikasukhuluma ngale topic yashaya ama network kwabakusaphasapha ishingishane zashaya kwasana. So I was translating to them in English. So don't worry, it's the right thing. But there's a brother of ours, Moji, who has maybe a question or a comment, and then you can get back to you in the last few minutes before we seal up. Moji, if you're still here, my brother, come through. And another hand can be raised also, so we can take maybe 2 or 3 comments or questions. Of course.
Thokozani Makhetla, Thokozani Makhulu. When I'm for to yazi the content you're bringing out today is it's heavy, ne? It's heavy, and I understand the networks had to tumble now. In that Menzi, just 2 quick comments. The one point you were making about Lesiaskoti, where Amakosi, why Pahela Corner, we've got a line that we call Izeptepi, ne? That is in fact where it starts, ne? That is the first point of it, and then it links up with Elangeni, where Omkulu had gone a month ago to Upasha for Luamcimbi. And then Yakupuka Yahamba via through there's a point foot Kruger National Park, and then Yakupuka through the Congo, and then all the way. It falls spot on the Zep tape, that spot you are referring to. Now, but that was not my point. Now, the question I had for you, Wenaketa, is I have got this interest between you and the song Nomalang. I listen to that song a lot, ne? And I cannot help but wonder, how do you connect with that song? Because I look at your age and I don't even know how old you are, but I cannot help but wonder, how do you connect to that song?
Mkulu, Nomalanga, thank you for the question. It's a pretty interesting one, because if you listen to the song first verse is about Ukhamba kwamasosha omkhonto wesizwe. Second verse is about the inhlungu that they went through, beposa incwadi, and them sending letters ekhaya. The third verse is 1990 February, when Nelson Mandela came out of jail. They saw that the townships were still facing the same issues. Petrol ukhuphukile. And then when he got home, the whole punchline was a question: who took care of those that came back? Those soldiers that went to go fight for the liberation of South Africa, when they came back home, some of them came back to empty houses, and they were carrying grenades. and they were carrying TLP and ammunition. So that whole song, I was born in 1982. I'm turning 40 on December 21, on the 21st of December. They say it's the longest day on earth. I'm turning 40 years old. I grew up to the smells of tear gas. I know what it feels like, you know, ematendeni, emaralini. Before every rally. When I was young, I was very active. My mom had a salon back then in the 80s. And zonke indaba zayiphelele ekhaya, you know, and before I entwaseni. So for me, that song, that's how I connect with it. And I had a chance of sitting with great people like Kostix and Vlej, who was very instrumental. ETA, Masha, this is our revolution. That guy, when he came back from exile, was in Tuzum, Osizo Parimshipain. And then when I did that song, I got to know wonke ama-social conferences ngey'gaba zokuhluka kwabo. Odlamini, Umlangeni, Nkosi, ose-chairperson we-region yase Limpopo, umfowethu kakhulu naye. So that song, that's how I related with it. It was a basic question of who takes care of my social code. And I guess they returned the love after I raised that question, because they kubhlungu ukuba indoctrinated inhlungu that they went through, especially in lands that they didn't know, crossing the Zambezi with Krisan, and when times when South Africa came back, Opaka Mamabulo, they came back sitting in the Rivonia House, speaking to people like Hugh Maseko, asking them that assistance that they should receive, medical aid, assistance they should receive in these countries have been sanctioned. They're no longer going to provide them, so they need musicians to step in and help zonke lezingane zase South Africa that are in Tanzania, Russia, Mozambique, and everywhere, in all the camps, Lusaka and whatever. So Hugh Maseko was said that what it was and left that meeting and didn't offer his skills and talents, which he was entitled to, because it's all up to you as an individual. And then the only person that gave an opportunity was Jonas Ngwangwa. The late Jonas Ngwangwa went then to Angola, and in Angola he then took AK-47s out of people's hands and taught them how to play drums and taught them how to play guitars. He then did a tour of all these camps and came back with containers of food. You know, the story of Social Conferences was an interesting one, because these uniforms that they were wearing, you would find that in Angola, when Jacob Zuma was arrested at the age of 20, and then at the age of 30, he left with the mandate to become the head of intelligence. And his first operation was called Operation Quito Carnaval. Quito Carnaval is a place in Angola. It's a place in Cuba, under the watchful eye of Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. And the first operation that Jacob Zuma did was when the plane, you remember at the time, Amapun, Aine Bridge here, where they went into military in South Africa, in all different departments. If you wanted to be a doctor, you were military. Which the Zululand government had implemented. And when this aeroplane landed with over 240 Afrikaners and scared children, it was ambushed by Che Guevara and Jacob Zuma's first operation as the head of intelligence. When they ambushed it, they opened up the plane. Jacob Zuma went inside and saw children, and he wrote a letter that we would fight soldiers and not young kids, you know, never mind of them who are. And sorry, what he then did was fuel that plane. After fueling that plane came back to mayfika amabhunu back in South Africa. Now you're going to have a problem when you have over 250 different children, head office in Pretoria, going as far as Cape Town, going back home. In Operation Quito Carnaval. So when these children came back to these homes as Afrikaners, they were unveiled of the barbarism that was portrayed of the black person, that black people are barbarians, they will kill you. When Jacob Zuma fueled that plane and wrote a letter that will fight soldiers, not young boys, because there was no one over the age of, and they flew back and they started infiltrating South Africa for the negotiations and the talks that we foresee today. Yes. So Lengoma Numalanga for me is a lot, because I sit with many stories from many different angles.
No, Togoza Kate, that was a mouthful.
So we give thanks. Thank you, Mochi, for your question. Nkosi?
No, bengifuna ukucorrecta ubhuti wami. Makakhuluma, I was like, bengakhulumi wena engomeni kaNomalanga. Bekhuluma iThonga.
Yeah, as he said, it carries stories from different angles and different perspectives, as above and below, when we do it and without, you know.
As above, so shall it be below.
Do we have questions from other people? Or comments?
Facebook, Asinayo, ama questions. We do have viewers
on our chat here.
On our chat, I will check. Hey, I wish ukuthi ngathi ngingathumela umuntu oyofundisa umkhulumezi ukuthi i-computer isebenza kanjani.
4.0
one day. Hey,
4IR, artificial intelligence.
4IR, IDs mkhulu.
I know, like umkhuluma kangathi I lost the logins. Yo, stress esingiphathayo, guys. You guys don't know the amount of stress that I go through when this man says I lost the logins.
Any comments? Leave me alone. Talk about the comments of other people.
From Goddess Tendai. Goddess Tendai says, I am honored of being part of this energy. Thank you for creating a space to facilitate our returning to our essence, understanding where we come from, for healing and emergence of our higher self as Africans. She's leaving.
She was leaving the chat. What's in Malehafa?
Ushiye ibongo zakhe fem wena imakancane ushiye ibongo zakhe. I hope I don't butcher ibongo zakhe. Giving thanks Kanimambo. Kyalebucha. I don't know how to pronounce this other one. Ozukuro Ndatenda.
She's giving thanks in the language of Malawi, of Mozambique, of Zimbabwe, and Southern Africa, Botswana. She's giving thanks in all those languages. So towards our conclusion, Bakulu. Ngicela siqhubeke kancane nomfowethu. Yeah. You touched on very important revolutionary topics there. I would like us to bring us back a bit to music, because the goddess or the energy, the divine force that we are celebrating this time is one of music, and also she's called, her name means the divine house, the house of royalty, the one who presides over the city. So over the house of the great temple or the royal house also. But almost everything you touched on, you know, we went to the topic almost without prompting you to go to the topic, but it went there because, tell me what you know. Who is Mtania?
Umkhulu needs to unmute his mic before he speaks, because I muted it because I realized that he's speaking to somebody else.
Okay, excuse me for that. Right. He is unmute.
Please, unmute, Shem. That's okay.
Oh, give me Lana.
I mute because I realized and you were having a private conversation.
Yeah, commitment 11
give me a bit about your knowledge of Mtania, and then maybe we're gonna close, just close in within 5 minutes. What's your knowledge of Mtania? People say Kweliga Mtania.
I think Mtania Why ngwakwaZulu angithi uthani?
Umama
I'm not quite sure. I need to check. Why ngwakwaZulu ngithi why umthani no jama kwakuyi same hierarchy.
Same family.
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome Tania. And I think little Tania alqhamuka nakakhangela amankingane lapha kwaZulu bekuthiwa useThekwini kwelamthani iqhamuka because even ilokhuzana isigodlo kakhangela amankingane Howard College today.
Oh, okay, interesting one. Nkosi?
I wanted on something very, 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 very important. All Dlamini are gathering around. I wanted to understand your observation of why is it that the Dlaminis are gathering themselves around. Because even in the story of you discovering who you were and whatnot, mina ekhaya langhlala khona ne nginyanga ngithi vele. When they enter, they come to my house and I tell them ukuthi ngincengisiwe la githi kunomhlaba engaphiwa uSobhuza ubaba kaMswati uSobhuza umhlaba
ngonyama.
So I think all Dlamini are gathering around Nkosazana. Kuyiqiniso lokho. If you take a look at what's happening in the world, Queen Elizabeth passed on. Nkosi King Zwelithini passed on. And those were two great pillars. Great pillars that had kept the old ways, and now new ways need to begin because new leaders come with new ideologies. So I think all Dlamini are getting a ring around now to fulfill their prophecies and their spaces as ingonyama zomhlaba. Ngoba bonke babuyela ngeni. Bonke bangelanga bawuhlubu bangomlangeni. And I think it's if kuthiwa izinto ibuyela kubanikazi bazo kuyosikwa phela kubuyele lokho kufanele kube kwaDlamini. Kubuyele okwakazuma kube okwakazuma. Okwakazulu kubuyele okwakamhlongo kubuyele ngendlela enjalo. With all respect kwamakhosi ukuthi mengibona uMenzi ngiwabone lamakhehla ambethe ngenhlonipho enkulu ngoba asiziphileli la emhlabeni siphiliswa amakhehla. Uqinisileke mankosi isikhathi sesifikile sokuthi sibuyisele okwelanga elangeni.
Siyabonga. Ngicela ukuhaya lemicu embalwa eqhamuka kumlobi uSolwazi uMazisi Kunene kwincwadi yakhe called kusadliwa kuthiwani unodumo ehlezi kaMenzi. Umucu nje owodwa ayodwa phela it's like a paragraph from this book unodumo ehlezi kaMenzi. Before sikurelease Nkosi ngoba phela sikurelease uyofulfilla umsebenzi wakho kwezinye indawo. Ngicela ukuhaya lana uShaka waziwa njengenkosi eyibusa ngolaka nangembi. Kodwa lana ubaba uNkunene uveza esinye isithombe. I won't read the whole thing. It's very, very long, but I'm just do the short one. I'll read only this part of the paragraphs. So the subtitle, it says, Ushaka uvivinya ilizwe ngelokuphana. So he's talking about the generous part, King Shaka's generosity to the surrounding nations. Angithi kwaziwa ngokuthi unolaka wayebhubhudla wonke ngomkhonto, but akesizula nothini okamdabuli. Which, by the way, KZN is now named after him, the whole road. That you kept on mentioning. Usezathi naye uShaka. Now this is open quote. Shaka is speaking. Kulo lonke ilizwe kamukho onjengaye, kamukho owephana ukwehlula umfowethu uZihlandlo. Ngisho esesele ngankomonye uyakuphisa ngayo. Ngibe ngibona ezamanye amadoda izibaya zitakasa. Ngize ngizibuze ukuba kube kanjani benumuza abanumzana. Ilizwe libe likhona nabantu bekhona beswele. Close quote. Washo baqhaqhazela abaningi ababemuzwa abenezinkomo eziningi. Lokhu babezazela okwakhe kunjengomoya. Bayazi ukuthi amazwi kaShaka anjengomoya ophilayo. Wona ubona ubange ngapha ngamzuzwane kuyaba liyaphenduka ubheke ngalaphaya. So he's basically saying that his spirit, his energy was so that one time he'll be facing this direction, telling you to do this, but on another direction he'll also be. He's saying people mababelane. So basically people are telling us about socialism now, but there's a bit of that socialist element being revealed by Ushaga at that time. People must share, you know. Yeah, so ngicela ukuvala nje ngalawo mazwi kaNodumehlezi kaMenzi from okamdabule. Bese ngizwa mhlawumbe the closing statements from you and closing statement from Nkosi, and then we seal up. Anything you'd like to share with us?
I'd like to thank you guys for the platform, and I would like to say ukuthi ingane kwethu nina bogogo nomkhulu isikhathi sifikile manje, and masishejwa ilesi sikhathi ingane zethu yohlupheka kakhulu. Isikhathi sifikile ukuthi sibheke i-intelligence nohambo lukamoya sihlukane nohambo lukanyama. Ziningi izinto esibhekene nazo emhlabeni. Kunedimoni ebengibhekene nalo eliwutikoloshe elinehlelo lodwa izolo ebusuku elivuswa yi-lock drum yasemali ekuthiwa upiano. Bayadansa.
Awuphinde futhi mkhulu. Livuswa yini?
Ngithi kunotikoloshe ebengibhekane naye phakathi kwamabili ebusuku onehlelo lodwa.
Yeah.
Baningi abazolazi lo tikoloshe piano. Uvuswa yi-lock drum lasemali. Lele dzunkunkunku. So njoba ubone emphakathini wethu kunjena abantu behlanyiswa umculo wamapiano bekhipha neimali besebenzisa inkomo zokhokho omkhulu babo. Everything has a spirit, even the music that dominates right now. Kuningi esibhekene nako.
Khuluma. Ngikhuluma mkhulu.
Kuningi esibhekene nako. Kuningi esibhekene nako. So ngizocela nje in my closing statements ukuthi ama platforms anje abambe kaqini ukwazi ukuthi abantu balapheke, ngoba mesixoxa kanje siyalapheka. Ngibonge kuwena Menzi, sithokoza mkhulu uNdlondlobala ukhulu. Uqine mfowethu ukwazi nokulapha isizwe sakantu. Ngiyathokoza. Nawe Nkosi ngiyabonga. Thokoza.
Hayi.
Umkhulu Mxolisi wakithi ntasekhaya ne.
Thokoza.
Bengifuna ukusho ukuthi we have these conversations because mina noMenzi besikhathele ukuthi sikhuluma in silos. In a sense that we are talking about things, but the people who need to hear this information are not hearing them. And they it's like preaching to the choir. Those people are always in church, you know? So they know ama-verse wonke nama-Bible, zonke izinto. So we created this platform ngo-3 a.m. ekuseni, ngiyikhohlwa ngo-7 July. I remember 7 July 2020, ngo-3 a.m. ekuseni, we created this platform. And because we were tired of talking and talking about things that people should be knowing, even nalez oskhulumai, even the other stuff ongas mentionanga la, the fight about the macadamia nuts, people don't know about it. And they don't know until we tell them. We need to tell the people the truth.
Of
course.
Ungwani umlangeni ihlubula lesikanobamba ihlubula lokucala.
Siyathokoza.
Ayike sithokoze kakhulu. Siyabonga. Ube nendlela zimhlophe Zulu. Ndlela zimhlophe konke okwenzayo namhlanje kuhlume kuhambe kahle. Nabo bonke abalaleli bethu siyabonga ukuthi bebe nathi kulesi sithangami sokwelapha. Makwande okuhle in all your projects my people, Nina Boshanga, you people of the palm race, be free, be liberated, be prosperous in everything that we do. Si sonke asibambeni isashisa. We give thanks.
Mkhulu, ngicela nje ukeda one last thing.
Okay.
Sengabekwa as board of directors lapha eBedcent.
Hawu ngempela. Ekhaya lami lakudala.
Thokoza khehla lami.
A whole director. Uzoyimentiona ekugcineni. A whole director.
Ziyabuya izinto khehla lami. Sesiyokwazi ukuthi mhlambe nale platform sike sinike indawo. Khona lapha sike nje bahlangana abantu beyibukelayo.
Sizofika soyenza live.
Ngaphambi kokuthi uhambe Mxolisi, Amalangeni, when is it going to be available on
album?
Yes. When is it going to be available for everyone to listen?
This one, Nkosazana, I've decided never to sell my music again. I've got 60 songs now. I've decided I'm never going to sell my music again. So, Guinea ifisa ukuthi abantu bangibuke ngifike ngizoyiperform ngoma zami bayibone. Mase ngiyahamba.
Hayi babo.
Mxolisi, awusitshelanga.
You've got the best center. You've got the best center. You've got the stage. You've got the sound.
I'm never going to sell my music again, Nkosazana.
Because it benefits.
This album, you won't find it anywhere except when I perform. I perform it.
Oh, okay. Can we have a listening session next time, Masibiza? We won't publish it on.
No problem, Nkosazana.
We are going to.
We won't publish it. A listening session. We won't publish it.
It's of course. Thokoza mkhulu. Ibluff iseduze lapho sithokoza khehla lapho.
Ungikhonzele ko Clive Sithole lapho nawo Mama Nise nabo bonke.
Oh, so kwenza njani siyathokoza mkhulu.
Hayi,
siyathokoza.
Ashe.
There you have it, everybody. Mxolisi Majozi, wakithi. I'm proud to say that udlamini wakithi shukulo kuqala. So uMenzi uhambile, angimazi ukuthi uyephi, akavalisanga, but you find uZuluboy at I am Zuluboy, and then when we have the listening session for album yaka Mxolisi, because we want to respect his wishes not to publish the album on other platforms. Laba abase Joburg, I will organize ukuthi simamele, and then we enjoy Mxolisi, and then we just chill because he likes to keep his circle very closed. Kanjalo. Ngiyabonga. Thank you for holding space with us. I am Zuluboy at all platforms, and then Ikhambi, you find us, Ikhambi Natural Healing, on all platforms, Ikhambi Natural Healing. We are the ones with the as above, so shall it be below. The one with the tree, the green and the black one. Green and black tree. Amakwini, Ashe, Lisedi.